As of just a few weeks ago, Instagram has been testing out scheduled DMs, and I think it's a super dope element to add to the platform because if you are treating it like email and you want to be able to send things in a timely manner or a more efficient manner, it makes sense. But I feel like we're stepping away from this authentic side of conversation that can happen on social media, especially when you're trying to engage customers, fans, or your current audience. Now, the reason I say that is because platforms like ManyChat have been doing automation for quite some time when it comes down to conversions and really trying to make sure that people are engaged with what it is that you have to offer as a business, as a creator, so on and so forth, just as the source of whatever it is that you're providing. When I think about Meta or Instagram specifically testing AI as well, I start to think about how they could be trying to make their own automation systems within their platforms, which makes sense as a company because you don't necessarily want to outsource those things if people are already using them on the platform. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you want to keep things in house, and the more you have control over the things that you are doing, the better outcome it's going to be for you, especially if you have the capacity and the team to do so. I'm especially curious to see where it goes, considering there are other platforms that are trying out AI integration, and it's just such a strange thing to follow at this point because there's such major advancements that are happening in such a short amount of time, and it makes it exciting. But at the same time, like I said, I don't want to lose that authentic side of social media or being able to engage with people, especially as someone who's just getting into it. Like as far as that marketing and advertising side really goes, I'm a little worried about not having such one-on-one or actual conversations with people from a business or just interaction perspective. It doesn't make sense as far as what social media is really meant to be. And granted, it is a tool, right? And for a business, I think it's a tool to reach people. But how are you really making sure that these people that you are reaching are receiving you in an authentic manner? This is the thing that I'm grappling with. I mean, even when it comes down to just thinking about my line of work and what I do, and even thinking about being an editor and kind of looking at AI from the perspective of like, yo, is this going to start taking over certain aspects of what I do? But at the same time, it still boils back down to I don't think that is a worry just because there's still that human, authentic piece to it. Now, let's be real though. If I were Meta or if I were any other platform that is large and scalable and really trying to push things out, I would absolutely try something with AI. I feel like that's just a necessary thing at this point because of how fast it has been changing and how fast it has been growing. When it comes down to video, even like you think about Sora AI or these other platforms are allowing you to make music videos based off of AI, like things are going crazy. Even in the Madison scene that I'm in, there are folks like camera guys who are testing out different things when it comes down to AI videos. And man, I am just blown away. Yet I still am grappling with this whole authentic piece and how do you make it make sense to someone who's viewing it and have them actually feel something from it. Like I see these videos and God, it probably boils down to even being able to distinguish between the two, right? Because not everybody can tell between the real and the AI when it comes down to animation, even or these different things. Obviously, there's only small details that you can pay attention to in some clips, like the little, I don't know, graphics clipping, or maybe like they've got five fingers instead of four. Hold on. They got six fingers instead of five. My bad. Unless you don't count the thumb as a finger, then I'm totally right on that. It still boils down to this authentic factor of like, how are you making me feel an emotion through AI when AI itself doesn't feel an emotion? And I think it's the same thing when you go back to that DM automation. When you go back to scheduling, it's like, yo, how is someone going to connect with something that's not actually feeling for them and it's not actually showing a real sign of empathy, especially when it's kind of like copy and pasted or it's the same conversation over and over again with the different person? Because the aspect of DM automation, right, is you have your different conversion methods and you have different conversations happening, but they're all still kind of a if this then this scenario where you have something pre-planned that someone's going to be clicking into and it's going to be a funnel that leads them to something. If you're having that same conversation with somebody over and over again, or if you're having that same viewing experience where you start to notice the little differences between, what's real and what's not, then it becomes a scenario of trying to figure out that authentic, like, why am I here? Why am I viewing this? What's it actually making me feel? I'm a little uncomfortable. Like, it's such a strange thing. I'm going to say it again. It's a strange growth to see happening because eventually, maybe, I don't know if it'll be a public access type thing, but eventually it will be smart enough to a point where it can get you to feel a certain emotion based off of what it's presenting. Right now it's kind of just a little bit jumbled, like you still have to do some certain things on the input side. It still requires your input to an extent. However, there will be a point where maybe it doesn't need that input and it'll just right off the bat be able to give you what you're looking for. It's a wild thing to consider when you're looking at it from a content creator standpoint, when you're looking at it from a business standpoint, all that, especially when you're trying to connect with people and you're trying to make them feel a certain way. Now, if you're not trying to connect with people and you're just trying to kind of, check the pockets and see what's going on there and try to make some money, by all means, there's already people that are making money off of AI videos or AI generated content, whatever it may be. And that's what's up. That's dope. I'm happy you're making some money. But I mean, it's for me, like I definitely am grappling still, like I said, with that authentic piece. Who is actually bringing the authentic content now, and who is actually going to deliver some sort of feeling or emotion or some sort of empathy to a situation that maybe you're able to help in, or maybe you're able to do something as the person you are, creating the content, and then all of a sudden you've got this like community that actually means something, and it's not just a bunch of people who clicked into your little funnel and found out whatever it was you're selling, and maybe may or may not have bought or downloaded what it was you were offering. And it's a developing thought, right? Because there are benefits to scheduling, there are benefits to automation, there are benefits to having funnels, there are benefits to all of these things, especially if you're working on a small team that needs that type of uplift from a capacity standpoint. Like it makes sense, right? Like if I were to start a funnel so that way I could get people into a mailing list to make conversations a bit easier when it comes down to spreading information about an event per se, that makes sense to me. It makes sense. But when we're talking about like getting people to go down so far into a funnel that it's like they're having a conversation with somebody, it's like at that point, I feel like I would rather have the conversation or have someone on the team or a large enough team that can handle the influx of that many conversations. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I wouldn't want to scale past the point where I couldn't control it or where I couldn't have a team control it or help me control it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, I don't know, it's hard to fathom. I feel like this is a scenario where I still need a closer look at how this would work in a larger corporation. And maybe, maybe it has super big benefits that I don't know about. Maybe there's just, maybe it's just a blessing in disguise. I have no idea. But, it's still that conversation of the authenticity of whether or not this is going to be a viable change in the future. You know what I'm saying? I just saw something about AI employees. I just saw that there's a company that is launching AI employees, and it's like, yo, that's wild. That is wild to me. How you gonna do that? It's I get it. I get it. I could have imagined it before. I can imagine it now. It's just like, man, it's actually happening. And I mean, it's been happening in different areas. I'm sure there are administrative assistants that have experienced loss of employment because AI is able to do such an amazing job at just the, simple organizing tasks or revisions of paragraphs, so on and so forth. Even meeting notes, those types of things, meeting scheduling, even those types of things can be taken by AI. I understand it. Do you? Do you? If that's how y'all want to work, that's how y'all want to work. I've done it before as far as, note taking goes, or like being able to simplify notes or paragraphs. I've done it. Done it. I will admit that. I will admit it. But still, there's an authentic component to having a real person working with you when it comes down to, just trying to maintain, I don't know, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. If you are an AI assistant and you are somehow watching this video, you're doing great. You're doing great work. I'm just a little concerned. That's all. Just a little concerned. That's it. That's all. Schedule your DMs.